Reasoning Power, Chapter 8, The Law of Logical Causation. You are now invited to consider that important law of logical reasoning known as the law of logical causation. This law represents the universal experience of human thought rationally applied and directed. The law of logical causation is expressed in the sixth of the seven axioms of logical reasoning, which is as follows. The axiom of logical causation. Every change, happening, event, or entrance into or exit from existence proceeds from precedent conditions or causes. Given the same causative factors, the same material elements, and the same environmental conditions, the same results and effects will follow in all cases, so determined and conditioned. This axiom states a truth which is verified by all human experience, is supported by the common sense reports of the race, and is substantiated by the judgment of the keenest logical and philosophical thought. It is regarded as self-evident truth, and as a proposition which may be taken for granted. It is assumed in all logical thought and is implied in all true reasoning. The following consideration is not intended to be offered as proof of its truth, but is designed merely to elucidate and make clearer the manifestation of this principle in the world of thought and things. The law of causation is expressed in popular terms as follows. Everything that happens is a result of a cause. Without a cause, nothing happens. A more technical statement is all changes in things, and therefore all actions, movements, events, happenings, and occurrences involving change, are the results or effects of certain antecedent activities, conditions, forms, or states of things known as causes. These causes being present, the results and effects must occur. These causes being absent, the results and effects cannot occur. The following statements of technical, authoritative writers of the subject may serve to illustrate further the natural principle operating through this law. Jevons says, the cause of an event means the circumstances which must have preceded in order that that event should happen. Baldwin says, every event is the result or sequel of some previous event or events without which it could not have happened, and which, being present, it must take place. McGilvary says, causation is the relation of cause to effect. The cause of any event is a preceding event without which the event in question would not have occurred. Both causes and effects are always events, not things, but things in action. The complete cause would be all the indispensable previous events. But as all inquiry that is of any value is confined within limits, the question as to the cause of an event is not generally a demand for the complete inventory of indispensable previous events, but some event which, in connection with other events, taken for granted, is needed to account for the event under discussion. If we deny the law of causation, we may as well deny the existence of all natural law and order. For natural law and order cannot proceed from chance, but is clearly the manifestation of the law of causation. A law is the way things act and proceed, and all things are discovered to act and proceed according to orderly sequence and logical order. This universal fact attests the validity of the law of causation. The ancients employed the term the cosmos to indicate the world conceived as proceeding according to law and order, the opposite conception and term being that of chaos, or the world conceived as lacking law and order, and hence the world conceived as existing in a state of lawlessness, disorder, and confusion. The position of modern science is that so forcibly expressed by one of its pioneers in the axiom, the universe is governed by laws. The only alternative is the conception of a world of chance. The latter is unthinkable in view of the discovery of the constant and invariable operation of the law of causation in the universe. Logical thought recognizes the existence of chance only in the sense and significance of the unknown, unperceived, or remote causes of an event. It denies the existence of chance in the sense and significance of absence or lack of causes. A leading reference work says, chance is a word which in its original and strict meaning may be defined as the causelessness of an event. But with the growing insight into the universal prevalence of causality, chance in this sense of the term is no longer regarded as possible. The word continues to be used in a different sense, that is, the unknown cause or causes of an event. The cause or causes may be entirely unknown or unknown only in detail. In either case, there is a lack of predictability, and insofar as an event is unpredictable, it is said to be due to chance. The unpredictable event is itself called an accident, sometimes also itself a chance. You will notice that in the axiom of causation is stated that not only every change happening or event, but also every entrance into or exit from existence comes under the law and proceeds from precedent conditions or causes. An event is that which comes, arrives, or happens. Events arise from and are accompanied by changes in things. Every change in things implies a cause or causes producing the change. It is logical to posit a necessary cause to account for every change. Now, every entrance into or exit from existence is a change or becoming. Consequently, every coming into existence or exit from existence must have its cause. But note this important fact. If there be posited as something or somewhat which is eternal, and which therefore has never come into existence, or entered into existence, or become existent, then the existence of that something or somewhat does not imply the necessary precedent existence and action of a cause, and logically we have no right to demand a cause for such. Consequently, each and every school of philosophy, metaphysics, or theology equally is entitled to be absolved from the necessity of explaining by cause the fact of the existence of its own particular posited, eternal, ultimate principle, law, process, or being, upon some one of which all philosophy, systems, or metaphysics and theologies base their respective reasoning. If there exists anything that is eternal, then such a thing must of necessity be causeless. Only that which is conceived as coming into or entering into existence requires the positing of a cause to explain such becoming. As Bound says, it is not existence as such that demands a cause, but a changing existence. It is entrance and exit only that give rise to this demand. Whatever manifests them must have a cause. Whatever does not manifest them can dispense with a cause. However, in this particular instruction, we are dealing only with natural things, things which become objects of perception and conception. All such things are temporal things, things which have come into existence, which manifest constant change during their period of existence, and which are destined to pass out of existence all through a process of becoming. Such things, then, are clearly under the law of causation. In the present consideration, therefore, we are dealing only with things that come, dwell a while, and then go, all under the law of change and therefore under the law of causation. The importance of the law of causation is realized more fully when it is recognized that in the cause or causes of an event happening, change or entrance into existence are to be found the because, reason, and explanation of the occurrence. When you know the cause or causes, then you are aware of the reasons, explaining and accounting for the effect or result. When you say that such and such a thing happened because of so-and-so, then that so-and-so represents the cause or causes because of which the thing happened, occurred, changed, or made its entrance into existence, or passed out of existence. So you see, there are great principles involved in the law of causation. The application of the principles of the law of causation in logical reasoning is performed chiefly in certain phases of inductive reasoning, which form the subject of the preceding section of this book, devoted to the consideration of the law of induction. Inductive reasoning is actively concerned with the discovery of the unknown causes of known effects and results of known events, happenings, changes, entrances into, and exits from existence. In short, with the relations of cause and effect existing between all things. At that point of our instruction in which inductive reasoning was considered in detail, your attention was directed to the general laws and principles involved in that form of logical reasoning. However, at this point, we think it is proper to call your attention to some special rules observed by trained reasoners in those processes of inductive reasoning, having to do with the operation of the law of causation. Difficulties of discovering causal relations. The following general classes of difficulties experienced in determining the relation of cause and effect manifesting in correlated things should be carefully noted by you. Frequently, the knowledge of the precise nature of the difficulty will prevent you from committing a fallacy of reasoning or from indulging in false reasoning along these particular lines. It will also serve to indicate at least the general direction in which lies the true solution of some difficult problems arising in the study of cause and effect. 1. Causes beyond experience. Where the cause lies outside of human experience, or at least out of the experience of the individual, and is therefore not to be comprehended or understood, the remedy is 1. If it be found that while one's individual experience does not include the possible knowledge of the unknown cause, then he should seek the solution in the experience of acknowledged authorities on the subject in question. Care, however, being taken to satisfy himself that the authority actually is possessed by those claiming it or reputed to possess it, rather than depending merely upon their unwarranted and impotent assumption of it, or upon the uncritical judgment of those who attribute it to such persons. 2. If it be found that the knowledge of the unknown cause necessarily lies out of all human experience, then the question should be put aside, because the mind is unable to apprehend any knowledge other than that originally based upon human experience. Failure to act upon this principle results merely in circular reasoning, the mind traveling about like the squirrel in his wheel, ever moving but never really advancing. 2. Joint causes. Where there are two or more causes acting conjointly, thereby rendering it difficult to determine which is the predominant cause or to eliminate from the problem the associated causes, then the remedy is to observe other cases in which some of the several possible causes has by itself operated to produce similar results independent of the other possible causes. If any one of the said possible causes is found to be capable of producing an effect identical with or quite similar to the effect under observation, without the possible presence or action of the other possible causes, and where the other possible causes are not found to be capable of so producing such identical or similar effects, then it is logical to reason that the successful possible cause is the true cause. In the absence of such decisive result of the test, you must either label the question as undecided or else tentatively assume that the effect is the result of the several possible causes necessarily acted conjointly. Tests along these lines will frequently eliminate certain of the factors as non-essential in the joint action, thus narrowing the unanalyzed combination of the remaining factors. 3. Modifying causes. Where there are found to exist some modifying or counteracting cause or causes, which tend to confuse the investigator and to cloud the result of his investigation, then the remedy is that of elimination. See the below stated rule of elimination. 4. Plurality of possible causes. Where there are found present and active several possible causes, either of which seem to be sufficient to answer for the effect, then here again the remedy is found in elimination. See the rules stated below. 5. Cause or co-effect. Where to the casual reasoner there seems to be found in a supposed cause the sufficient explanation of the effect, but where to the more careful reasoner the supposed cause appears to be possibly merely a co-effect of the true unknown cause rather than that true cause itself, then here again the remedy is that of elimination. See the rules stated below. 6. Coincidence. Where the apparent relation of cause and effect is seen probably or possibly to be the result of a mere coincidence, the relation of cause and effect probably or possibly being merely a relation of time and place arising from a concurrent happening, i.e., a happening at the same time and in the same place, though without any true logical relation of cause and effect existing between the respective happenings. Then once more the remedy is found in elimination. See the below stated rule. Number 8, reversal of relation. Where the apparent cause is suspected really to be the effect and the supposed effect really to be the cause, then the remedy lies in testing the apparent cause and the apparent effect apart from each other and under different conditions. In such case, careful observation and experiment are necessary. Rule of elimination. The rule of elimination, above referred to in several cases, is as follows. Test each possible or probable cause separately and apart from other possible or probable causes of a certain effect, with the end and purpose of eliminating from the problem such apparent causes, which may be discovered to be incapable of meeting the logical causal requirements of the case, which requirements the true cause must fulfill. The particular possible or probable cause which is left after all the others have been eliminated, provided that it itself successfully meets the requirements of the case, is then to be accepted as the true cause, at least so long as no other candidate for the office of true cause, also meeting the requirements, presents itself and challenges the holder of the office. Illustrations of elimination. The following examples serve to illustrate the rule of elimination, which in one form or another is employed by the most careful thinkers. 1. A gun is discharged. The savage tries to fire it again while still unloaded. He fails. He then places a shell within it and finds that it goes off. Henceforth, he eliminates the unloaded gun from the category of possible causes or causal conditions of gun firing. 2. A person is made sick by something eaten at a dinner, but he does not know just which particular dish was tainted. He proceeds to test the thing by elimination. He remembers that he ate soup, meat, fish, bread, and vegetables. He discovers that a number of other persons also were made sick at that dinner, while others still were not so affected. He examines the latter class and finds that all of them ate meat and that some of them ate soup and bread or vegetables, as the case may be. He eliminates all of these articles of food as probable factors of the illness by reason of the fact that many of the well persons had eaten of each. When he reaches the item of fish, however, he finds that none of the well persons had partaken of it. Further inquiry reveals the fact that all of the sick persons had eaten it. He reasons from this that the fish was the tainted article of food which caused his sickness. If he alone had been made sick, his test would have shown either A, that his particular portion of some article of food had been tainted, or B, that his stomach was in bad order, or C, that some particular combination of food had disagreed with him by reason of some personal idiosyncrasy. We have here several elements of possible cause and effect, and the detection of the true cause. Try to discover each. It will give you good practice and exercise. 3. Nitroglycerin is discovered to be explosive. A man wishing to discover the prime explosive factors of the composite article tried separately the several constituent ingredients, i.e. glycerin, and the nitric and other acids which composed it. He found that none of the several separated ingredients exploded, and that no other than a certain special combination of these exploded. In the case of many explosives, the explosion occurs only when the several ingredients are combined in certain proportions. Hence, the conclusion that all of these factors in certain combination and coordination are the necessary factors of the cause and constitute the true cause of the effect. 4. A man finds that his cup of tea is bad. He tries the experiment of using a different brand of tea, boiling it in the same kind of water. This results in another bad cup of tea. He then separately tries both brands of tea using a different kind of water from the first used. Both cups are found good. He decides that something was wrong with the water and that the water was the true cause of the effect. 5. A scientific man fills a receiver full of air and causes a bell to ring within the closed receiver. He hears the sound. Then he exhausts the air from the receiver and causes the bell to swing. He hears no sound. Hence he reasons that the effect, i.e. the sound of the bell, which was present in one case and absent in the other, resulted from the discovered essential cause, i.e. the presence of their air which conducted the sound waves. 6. A man finds a room well lighted. He notices a number of peculiar glowing globes about the room. He had never seen an electric light lamp before. He experiments by turning off the globes, one after the other, and then turning them on again, one by one. He finds that the light in the room decreases by reason of the first action and increases by reason of the second. Therefore, he reasons that the peculiar glowing globes are the true cause of the light in the room. 7. A man weighs a barrel filled with flour. He finds that it registers 210 pounds. He knows that the empty barrel alone weighs 14 pounds. He reasons that he has 196 pounds of flour in that barrel, which is the cause of that part of the effect, which was not attributable to the barrel. These are trifling examples and illustrations, you might say. Well, they are so, provided that you fail to grasp the basic principles involved in each. But these basic principles are precisely the ones employed by the great scientists, and by reason of which they have made their great discoveries of laws and principles. Perhaps, however, you may grasp these principles better when we present to you illustrations of certain fallacies resulting from a failure to apply them. Here are a few familiar and typically illustrative cases involving such fallacies. 1. Mistaken causes. The rooster thought that his crowing caused the sun to rise, because always just after he crowed, up came the sun. His fallacy was exposed when one day he overslept himself and the sun rose without his crowing. Again, in ancient times, from the coincidence of the simultaneous appearance of a comet and an epidemic of the plague, it was reasoned that the comet was the cause of the plague. The fallacy was exposed when it was shown that other comets had appeared without the coincident appearance of the plague, and likewise that other plagues had appeared when no comet accompanied them. Again, a child reasoned that because deaths in that town were always preceded by the visits of a physician, therefore the doctors were the causes of the deaths. You may expose this fallacy for yourself. Again, ignorant and violently prejudiced people have sought to attribute the occurrence of bad crops, unfavorable seasons, bad weather in harvesting seasons, etc., to the fact that a particular political party happened to be in power. You may smile at this, but cases of this kind actually have been experienced. Other cases, just as silly as those in which a certain administration or political party in power has been held to be the cause of things which were utterly beyond its power to affect one way or another, and which proceeded from entirely different causes. 2. Confusion of cause and effect. Some ignorant persons think that the eruptive pimples, which are the symptoms of certain diseases, are really the cause of the disease instead of its effect. Again, it might be argued that silk hats are the cause of civilization, because the greater the degree of civilization, the greater the number of high hats appearing on the streets. Again, that for the same reasons, automobiles are the cause of prosperity instead of an effect of it. Again, that for the same reason, straw hats are the cause of hot weather. Again, that certain royal personages were the respective causes of the high degree of culture, prosperity, and progress during certain periods, instead of there being merely incidental and coincidental facts. This is quite a common fallacy. The foregoing examples may seem to be absurdly exaggerated cases of fallacy of this kind, but others of the same general character and equally contrary to reason are being manifested by presumably intelligent persons every day of the year, and often are undetected and unexposed. When you train your mind along the lines of practical logic, you will by habit escape perpetrating these offenses against logical reasoning and will instinctively recognize and detect such when seriously and solemnly advanced by others. This is quite worthwhile, is it not? The Jevons Rules of Discovery of Causes and Effects. Concluding our consideration of the subject of the application of the law of cause and effect, we would call your particular and especial attention to the well-known, generally accepted, and very practical and useful rules laid down by Professor Jevons, that eminent teacher of logic, which rules will serve to aid you in discovering and identifying true cases of cause and effect. These rules are as follows. 1. Whenever we can alter the quantity of the things experimented on, we can apply the following rule for discovering which are causes and which are effects. 1. Whenever we can alter the quantity of the things experimented on, we can apply the following rule for discovering which are causes and which are effects, i.e., vary the quantity of one thing, making it at one time greater and at another time less. And if you observe any other thing which varies just at the same times, it will in all probability be an effect. 2. When things vary regularly and frequently, there is a simple rule by following which you can judge whether changes are connected together as cause and effects. This rule is as follows. Those things which change at exactly the same time are in all likelihood connected together. The above and the previously presented rules, when applied by common sense and according to experience, will render you an efficient reasoner along the lines of the relations of cause and effect, and such lines really extend over a vast field of your practical thought. Knowledge of the causes and effects of things under consideration is sometimes the most valuable of all possible knowledge. The second and concluding part of the axiom of logical causation states, given the same causative factors, the same material elements, and the same environmental conditions, the same results and effects will follow in all cases so determined and conditioned. This principle is so intimately and absolutely bound up with, correlated to, and coordinated with the first principle announced in that axiom, that it inevitably, invariably, and infallibly follows as an absolute necessity of the truth of the former. The two cannot be divorced. Reason has joined these two together so firmly that they cannot be put asunder. To deny either or both is equivalent to asserting the reign of chance rather than that of law and order, to regarding the universe as chaos rather than as the cosmos. This truth is expressed in many strong phases employed by eminent thinkers. For instance, from the same causes, the same effects proceed. What is true at certain times under certain conditions will be true under similar circumstances at all times. It is based upon the realization that nature proceeds according to fixed and certain law, according to a uniform, constant, invariable routine and sequence of orderly trend, that the universe is governed by law and not by chance, and proceeds according to rule and not in some higgledy-piggledy, irregular, non-uniform course. If we deny the validity of natural law, we may as well stop thinking at all, for the most important part of our thought is based upon the conception and premise of the universal law and order. We are justified in believing in nature's common course, for all experience supports such belief, and all logical reasoning verifies it. It has been said that we do not ask for the reasons of this uniformity. We cannot help believing in it, even if we try not to do so. It is a necessity of rational thought.